Hey, Anthony.
Yeah,
What do you think of Trump deploying the National Guard in Washington, D.C.?
I think the Trump administration is setting up for a metaphorical Night of the Long Knives, and this is the precursor to that.
What's the Night of the Long Knives?
The Night of the Long Knives is the name for the 48 hours or so in 1934, in which a certain charismatic German leader and the SS overthrew and unalived a significant portion of said leader's rivals at the time, especially those in his own party. And those 48 hours helped consolidate his rise to power, and everything that we know came after that.
What are the similarities that you're noticing?
Well, I'm hardly the first person to say that there's a lot of parallels between the Trump administration and the German party in the 1940s. And I think that we can look to those parallels to advise ourselves of how the Trump administration is likely to act in the future. Just as one example of those parallels, if we look at the events that occurred on January 6th in 2021, where the Trump administration had essentially a failed coup of the US Capitol, we can compare that to the beer hall putsch in 1923, in which case the German party that we all know about did basically the same thing. And in both cases, we had, this charismatic leader with a group of zealot and followers basically attempt to overthrow a legitimate government. They failed. In both cases, the leaders recovered, eventually gained power again, and in the case of the Germans, we all know what followed that. I think there's a serious concern that we're seeing a similar rise to power and everything that follows in the US. History doesn't necessarily repeat itself, but it often rhymes. And so when I'm seeing something like Trump putting troops in the Capitol, I'm immediately thinking, like, what's the goal of this, right? Trump's facing a lot of criticism right now, including and especially from his own party because of his administration's failed handling of the Epstein files. We have a lot of Republican leaders and power figures like Rupert Murdoch speaking out against Trump, to the point where we even have his own vice president, J.D. Vance, allegedly meeting with Murdoch for reasons that I can only assume are plotting the overthrow of Trump and replacing him with somebody who's easier to work with, like J.D. Vance. And Trump is feeling the pressure from a lot of different angles because of that. This is a man that we're talking about that, worships authoritarians. He's spoken very highly of people like Kim Jong-un, like Bolsonaro, like Putin, who are strongman dictators and exactly the type of man that Trump wants to be. And so when he's facing this criticism from his own party, I think his natural instinct is to put military troops in the Capitol to remind them that he's in charge. It's both a warning and a threat at the same time. And they're also conveniently there if he decides that that's not enough and he wants to violently seize power. When it comes down to it, there's too many similarities to what's happened in the past. Trump worships authoritarians, and this is his chance to be one.